We've got more NFL free agency buzz. The NFL free agency frenzy is upon us. We are grading every single Rams signing so far. Also, what have the Chargers done? What do they still need to do? Could A.J. Brown still be on the table? Also, Brian Thomas Jr. to the Rams. They could swing a big trade for another receiver. And I've gotten a lot of requests. It's the LA Sports Report was a lot of Raider fans. So we'll talk a little Raiders. Also, could Austin Reaves go to the Jazz? The Lakers looking to build off their best win of the season tonight against the Wolves. USC's number one recruiting class got a low ranking from ESPN. I'm going to tell you why that was not the right call. All that more coming up next on the LA Sports Report.
LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go. The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome to the LA Sports Report, the fastest growing LA Sports YouTube channel and podcast. Yesterday, we had our most viewed show of the year so far. Lots of Rams fans, lots of NFL fans tuning in for NFL free agency. So if you're new to the show, welcome. You've joined the movement. If you haven't yet, it takes just 1 second and you only need to do it one time. That is smash that subscribe button. Also, if you want to support every single episode, help us grow, hit the like button, drop a comment down below. Also, tell your friends, tell your family, say, hey, you got to join the LA Sports Report. Really appreciate that. My name is Doug McKain. You might know me from Dodgers Nation, Locked On Rams, NFL Radio for Westwood One. I've covered LA sports for over a decade. I'm loyal to the soil, and this is my new show dedicated to all LA sports. And it's a great time to be an LA sports fan because you've got NFL teams that are going all in here. You got the Rams, the Chargers. You got the Lakers with Luka Doncic who are looking better. The Clippers, talking BDR's Clippers today. We'll talk about Kawhi and the Clippers and getting back to 500. UCLA, USC too. So lots to get into. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start with NFL free agency that is buzzing right now. And the big winners so far in NFL free agency, you guessed it, the Los Angeles Rams. Play my theme music. There we go. All right. Well, the Rams have made 2 significant moves. And we talked a lot about Trent McDuffie and what that means. And there was a lot of fans out there, analysts out there that maybe were saying, oh, do you give a guy who's primarily a slot corner, do you make him the highest paid cornerback in the National Football League? Do you give him that kind of deal? Well, my response to that was always yes. When it's your turn to get paid and you're a top 5 player at that position, you're going to get the bag. You're going to reset the market. But also, what did I say before they made this move? And I guarantee you, it was the first person in the Rams universe that said that Trent McDuffie was going to get traded to the Rams, or that was my number one target for the Rams this offseason, right? But what I say, if you get Trent McDuffie, you have to get a boundary cornerback. You have to get a taller, primarily outside cornerback that can match up with bigger, more physical receivers in the National Football League. And they not only did that for a player that you could potentially say had a better year individually than Trent McDuffie in 2025, they did it with his own teammate in Jalen Watson. And the Rams now have 2 really good cornerbacks. They have one potentially elite and another one who, if everything breaks right, you could say, hey, if you get a little better ball skills, maybe end up with a couple more interceptions where just first and foremost, that is an overrated statistic when it comes to evaluating cornerbacks, because the truth is when you force tight throws and you get interceptions, you stop getting targeted. But there's a world where next year, as good as Trent McDuffie is, Jalen Watson could have equally as good of a season potentially. That's how good he is. And I got some more stuff on you for Jalen Watson, because yesterday we were doing the show and it was breaking news at the time. And my big takeaways from the Jalen Watson signing are, one, the Rams, they have gotten so much more physical in the secondary. You got really good coverage guys in Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson, but also they're better tacklers. They're more physical, force fumbles, getting to the football. And these are two of the best tackling cornerbacks in the National Football League. Last season, guys like Kobe Durant, Emmanuel Forbes, that wasn't their forte. Yes, they can do it in spaces and during certain reps, but these are two of the best tackling cornerbacks in the National Football League. And what this is going to allow the Rams to do, my second biggest takeaway, and after talking to some people yesterday, this is going to change how Chris Shield and the Rams play defense. You're going to see more sticky coverage. You're going to see less bend but don't break, cover three, zone defense. I used to want to, I'd be watching a Rams game, of course, and the Rams would get a lead. And then all of a sudden, the opposing team would climb back in the game, because a lot of times you are having soft coverage and the cornerbacks are 8 to 10 yards off the receiver. I want to throw my house in the middle of my street, because you want to see more of an aggressive style of defense. And this allows the Rams to have a player that can match up one-on-one. They can go and cover guys and the best receiver on the other team. Watson, he's going to press at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be jamming receivers. He has 32-inch arms. He's going to be disrupting receivers, rerouting them, stopping their rhythm. Some we just didn't see this Rams offense do, or this Rams defense do, against better offenses, more physical, higher level receivers last season. So the truth is, he's a better coverage guy than Witherspoon. He's more physical in run support, and it's a massive upgrade at the boundary corner spot. So I think what a lot of people don't understand about Jalen Watson is you look at just the overall production as far as the interceptions, right? And you look at the totality of his career, he has 3 interceptions in the regular season, 2 in the postseason, and those were big ones, but 3 interceptions in the regular season. And you say, well, hey, D-Mac, where are the interceptions come from? He's a really good quarterback, right? You don't look at the interceptions. You look at the forced tight window throws. And that gives you a really good indication on how physical and how good a cornerback is. And according to Next Gen Stats, Watson had the 5th best tight window rate forced by a cornerback since 2022. So we're not talking about one season. We're talking about multiple seasons. And his tight window throw rate is at 30.4%. And anytime you hear any of these stats, some more surface level, some deeper, some basic, some a little more nuanced, one way to kind of make them a little more contextualized for yourself to say, wait, does this actually mean something? Always look at who those stats are lumped in with. And at 30.4%, being top 5 in tight window rate for Jalen Watson, that puts him in the category with Sauce Gardner, who was 1st, Patrick Surtain, who was 2nd, Joey Porter Jr., who was 3rd, and Tyson Campbell, who was 4th. So he forces tight coverage. He also allowed the 8th lowest passer rating among cornerbacks last season. Last year in the National Football League, for corners that played at least 400 snaps, his 69 passer rating allowed, that was 8th best for CBs. And hey, let's play that game I just told you, right? Who does he compare to in that category? Who was 1st? Patrick Surtain, Derek Stingley Jr. You had Kamari Lassiter. All of those guys are considered top corners. Watson, he gave up completions on just 59.3% of his targets. And he's also allowed just 1 touchdown pass in the last 2 years. In the last 2 seasons combined, Jalen Watson has been targeted 94 times. He's allowed just 55 receptions. He's only given up 1 touchdown in pass coverage. He's been fantastic in the red zone in his career. He's done a great job of limiting big plays over the top. And just to give you an idea of how good that is compared to what they currently had in the last couple of years, Kobe Durant, he gave up 8 touchdown passes. Emmanuel Forbes gave up 7. He's given up 1 in the last 2 years. That is how good. Kobe Durant, Forbes, just last season alone, he had 15 total. He's given up 1. He's also played for a team that has won a Super Bowl. And also, too, just kind of talking to people that know him a little bit, this is someone who has made something of his career that we just never knew what was going to happen with this guy. Like, he was just a complete afterthought. He was not on anyone's radar. Just to rewind a little bit, Watson isn't from California. He's from Georgia, but he did come out to California to play at Ventura College to start his career. He was at a community college. It's about 40 miles away from the Rams practice facility at Woodland Hills. And then he was supposed to go to USC. He was supposed to be a Trojan. He was supposed to go to USC. And you like that? You like the VDR? Got to bump the song, right?
Right on.
All right. Hey, let's get. He was supposed to go to USC, but he was academically ineligible, ends up at Washington State, spent 2 seasons there, and then was drafted in the 7th round. And how about this? In 2019, in between his time at Ventura and Washington State, my man was back at Augusta, Georgia, working at Wendy's. He was working at Wendy's, man, with the square patties and the milkshakes and the French fries. By the way, BDR, are you into putting your French fries in your Wendy's milkshake? Someone told me that was the business. I tried it. I gotta say, like, I keep those things separated. Are you into that?
Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't even consume milkshakes. So that's not me.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I do like dipping my fries and stuff, but not milkshakes.
Okay. I respect that. I respect that. But yeah, the Rams have done a fantastic job. They have 2 really good to elite cornerbacks, and that really was their only glaring need. Now, the next thing we're going to do real quickly is we're going to grade every single offseason move by the Rams so far. I think you look at where they've really kind of done a lot of work as the secondary, and I think the Jalen Watson contract, it's an A. It absolutely is an A. Another thing, too, about that contract is it's a $51 million deal across 3 years, $34 million guaranteed, but they pushed the majority of that contract in the final 2 years. So for the upcoming season, it's at $7 million. So they've done that. So they have given themselves more financial flexibility to be able to make more moves this offseason. But I mean, for a starting cornerback of that caliber, this is the most money they've ever given a cornerback in free agency. Remember, Ramsey was a trade, then a signing. McDuffie, a trade, then a signing. Cortland Finnegan, they gave a pretty solid bag to, but it was like 5 years, $50 million, something in that range. And Trey White, they gave a 1 year, $10 million deal to a couple years ago. This is the most money they've ever spent. And it definitely is going to be a move and a couple of moves that are hopefully going to solidify a team that's going to, in their mind, win the Super Bowl next season. So that's an A. Next move, re-signing Cam Curl to a 3-year deal. I mean, what's not to love about this signing? He was one of the best safeties in the National Football League, and the Rams signed him to a deal worth $12 million per year. And his contract essentially is a 2-year deal as well. And that's an A. Next one, Tyler Higbee. They signed him to a 2-year deal. Wasn't a massive contributor last season, but still a 2-year deal where you're basically getting his leadership for $4 million per season. He's very big in that Rams locker room, in that tight ends room. I give it a B. I think there's still a world where the Rams can draft Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. And if they do that, having a veteran like Tyler Higbee around, and also when you look at this tight ends group, how much they've contributed, how important 13 personnel and 12 personnel is, Remember the Rams, that tight ends group, they contributed a lot in the red zone with guys like Colby Parkinson and Tyler Higbee, Davis Allen, Terrence Ferguson. And I still think that Kenyon Sadiq, he's definitely in the mix. Now, the Trent McDuffie one, I think this one, I'll give it an A-. Only reason I'll give it an A- is I think he has to earn that A grade. Only reason I give it an A- is because, yes, it was the move that they needed to make. And yes, his strengths and his flashes are extremely impressive. He blitzes, he tackles, he covers, he's tough. He brings a certain attitude to the Rams secondary. That's a lot of money. And just like we saw with Jalen Watson, this deal, it is a deal that you have to include that last year of his rookie contract. So it's $13.6 million for the upcoming season. And then the rest of that deal kicks in. So essentially it's $27.5 million per season. And I think the big kicker here for me is the fact that the Rams, even though they traded away one of their first round picks, it wasn't their highest first round pick. They kept a lot of bullets and they kept their best bullet. And you didn't have to give up number 13. You gave number 29. Next one, Xavier Smith. It's only the tenders. So they tendered Xavier Smith, the receiver. By the way, Chargers re-signed a cornerback. We'll get into that. Xavier Smith, Justin Dedich, and Harrison Mevis. I think for me, Smith, yes, I did tweet out that he should never play for the Rams ever again. And I did get DM'd by members of his family that told me to delete it. And yes, I did delete it. Hey, there you go. If I tweet something about you or someone you know, and you don't like what I said, if you DM me, I might delete it. I'm not trying to, I was a little harsh on that one. I'm not going to lie. I said Xavier Smith, after muffing that punt in the NFC title game that led to the Seahawks scoring and essentially lost that game for the Rams, I said Xavier Smith should never play for the Rams again. Having said that, I was emotional. I was definitely caught in the moment. And at the same token, I'm here for a redemption arc. I'm here for him to get it back together. I'm here for him to get another opportunity. And at that price, you don't feel too bad about it. And then also Justin Dedich, he's a very quality backup at the guard spot. You need depth. Him and Mevis are definitely other good moves. You got Mevis. He missed one kick all season. He did. He was 51 for 52 in the regular season. And the best part is getting all these guys around $1 million. None of them is guaranteed. So it's kind of one of those things where there's no such thing as a bad $1 million contract that's not guaranteed for players that can help you and be a part of your 53-man roster. So even though the big takeaway on those is, can Harrison Mevis be that guy? Because just the mere fact that his nickname is the thicker kicker makes me want him to be that guy. But my request for the Rams is don't touch him. Don't get him on a diet. Don't change his workout schedule. He needs to continue to be the thicker kicker. That's his aura. So don't mess with Harrison Mevis. And I'm very excited to see what it looks like for him during the first parts of the season. Is he going to grow into that role? And can he just make the makeables, right? We're not asking him to make 70-yard kicks, right? The Rams offense is going to be scoring points and they're going to be successful in the red zone. And yes, you need your kicker to be quality, but they don't need him to be the best in the league. They just need him to not be the worst in the league. Other one, they re-signed David Questenberry to a 1-year deal. I think this one is another one where it's all linked to the actual contract that he signed, a $1.5 million deal. It's a good bet by the Rams. Questenberry didn't play a lot last season, but he's someone that brings that versatility, low risk. He can play some swing tackle. So that's where the Rams are at. Now, the big question now is, what is next for the Rams? And I think what's next for the Rams is addressing that wide receiver 3 spot. Who is going to be WR3 for the Rams? And do they go veteran route or do they address that in the draft? Because we know that Romeo Doubs, he could certainly be an option there. He's still just 25 years old. And him as a wide receiver 3 would be massive. We saw Mike Evans go to the 49ers. And we also know the Rams they could still be in the mix for Mekhi Lemon or a Jordan Tyson. Could a Carnell Tate from Ohio State fall to the Rams? Had some issues. I mean, is there a world where he slips? I remember the reason why they got Aaron Donald is because he fell to them. He slipped. So they're going to have to address wide receiver 3. And then also, you're going to have to get another cornerback too. I think you're going to draft a cornerback of the future. And then I think there's some depth pieces there. I think Kobe Durant at the right price makes sense. He knows the system. He knows the culture. He's had some success here. If he doesn't get bigger offers out there, maybe he comes back to the Rams. You've got Darion Kendrick is a possibility. Roger McCreary is a possibility. I don't think there's anyone that played. Of course, we know that Darius Williams, he retired. I don't think there's anyone out there that you can definitively say, hey, like they're under no consideration. So the Rams, they're the big winners this offseason so far. I think they're the clear-cut favorites to win the Super Bowl next season. You look at the Seahawks. How can you tell me that the Seahawks are better than the Rams right now? You can't, because the Seahawks lost Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet tore his ACL. You lost Kubiak to the Raiders. And that's why I think that was a great Super Bowl win for them. And yes, they're young. Yes, they still have a lot of talent. JSN's going nowhere, and Sam Darnold has a lot of confidence, and that defense still flying around. Leonard Williams and the rest of the 12s and the gang up there in Seattle. But on paper right now, I think this is the best Rams team ever constructed as it stands, just because I think on both sides of the ball is a lot of talent. I mean, look, that 2021 team, I look at that Aaron Donald team, and yeah, I think you make a case for sure. That team was outstanding. But I still think they're not done. I still think when it's all said and done, this team's going to be absolutely explosive. And the Rams, they deserve all the hype. They deserve all the buzz this offseason for putting together a roster where they're all the way in for 2026 and 2027. All right, let's talk some Chargers. The Bolts, they made some moves. They are still working on a move right now where I believe they just signed a cornerback. Let's see. NFL free agent frenzy. So, by the way, the highest caps remaining going to day 2. You got the Raiders, the Commanders. The Chargers are third, $66.82 million. So that is, here we go. We've got, let's see what else we got. Yeah, the Chargers are certainly a team that they've got money to spend. The cap space, like I said, $60.7 million. The question is, how will that get utilized? And one thing we talked about yesterday was the possibility of going out there and getting A.J. Brown. Well, apparently he's no longer a possibility for the Chargers. According to Albert Breer, the Chargers are not among teams that were in the mix. He said, quote, Buffalo, having done the deal for more, is no longer involved. I don't think the Chargers are either, with their focus on the offensive line and the edge positions, with a big chunk of money and cap now gone. So, yeah, I still think they really need to go out there and, hey, you got to make a splash. And Joe Horwitz, he's really trying to set the tone there. They still have to really address whether or not Keenan Allen's going to be back. And if he is, what does that look like? And have you really surrounded Justin Herbert with the right offensive line and the right weapons around him? His birthday today, I think he posted it in Madison Beer's comments or something. He's a lucky guy. I don't know. But I want to see Justin Herbert live up to the intro of the show where we say he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I still certainly think he has the potential to be that. And I think on his best day, he is that. Now, the Chargers did agree to terms with Cole Strange. 2 years, $13 million. He was a former first-round pick by the Patriots. He joins the Chargers after a one year deal with the Dolphins, his stint with Miami. And this is kind of what we've seen this offseason is Mike McDaniel reuniting with some of his former players. In his 4-year career, strange, he's played 44 games, 43 starts. Most of it's come at left guard. He's played snaps at right guard, 117 snaps at center. And this is a major overhaul. This is a major overhaul for this Chargers team. And they're looking to, they got Tyler Biadasz, and they look like they're investing a ton of that. A 3-year, $30 million deal for him. And before this season, you're really, really concerned about the future of that team because the offensive line, they were turnstiles. And the good thing for him and Justin Herbert is they understand their issues and they've addressed them. So a lot like the Rams, who needed a secondary, who needed cornerbacks, they've done it with offensive linemen. But I still think with that money to spend, I'm looking for the splash. You got Khalil Mack back. You got a center. I think you still need to kind of upgrade and do something that wins a headline. Get a name that gets your fan base excited. Because right now, the Chargers, they're just an afterthought in Los Angeles. They truly are. And they're not going anywhere. They got that new facility in El Segundo. You got a franchise quarterback. You got a premier head coach in Jim Harbaugh. They're kind of a little bit of a sleeping giant. My fear for the Chargers is, are the Chargers the Angels? And is Justin Herbert like Mike Trout on the Angels? Is he going to be a guy that is a Bugatti at the trailer park home meme? Like, he needs a better offensive line. He needs some more premier talent around him. You ask yourself this question. Does he have a top 10 receiver? Does he have a top 10 offensive line? Does he have a top 10 running back? I know Omarion Hampton has a ton of potential. He flashed that last season, but there's a lot of moving parts going along with the Chargers. All right, we got Muad'Dib69, In-N-Out, fries and shakes, bro. But you got 12 minutes to eat all your In-N-Out. It goes down cold. If it goes cold, it's over. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, that is true about In-N-Out. Really all fast food. It does have a little bit of a shelf life. You got to eat that pretty quick or it doesn't hit the same, especially if you get animal-style fries. You really got to have to go over, because once those fries get cold, man, it's not good. Unless you got an air fryer in your pocket. By the way, I was always the big, hey, you can't reheat the McDonald's French fries. Dude, I'm not going to lie. I got an air fryer and I tried reheating some fast food fries. And I'm pretty sure that air fryers were invented for the sole purpose of reheating French fries from fast food restaurants. It's like they're better. It's unbelievable. The GOAT is live. What up, Topher's Day Off? Appreciate you. David, it's all about the LA Rams. The Rams. Derry says, don't trade the pick 13. Take wide receiver from USC or OL from Bama. Muad'Dib, what's up, D Mizzle? What's up, Muad'Dib? What's up, everyone? You guys rock with us over on the LA Sports Report. Appreciate you guys rock with us. Okay, so I know I get a lot of you guys that are fans of the silver and black. Let's talk some Raiders. And we got our Raiders theme song here. Is it bumping?
The autumn
there we
wind
go.
Is a pirate.
Yes. The autumn wind is a pirate.
Blustering in from sea.
The Raiders! Shout out to the great Chris Berman. Where's Raider Nation at? Look, I don't consider myself a Raiders fan. I'm a member of the Ramley, but I can respect that there are still a lot of Raiders fans in Los Angeles. This is the LA Sports Report. So if we got to give the people what they want, we will touch on some Raiders topics. We will hit on the silver and black, who have a very critical offseason. I'd venture to say the most critical offseason in Raiders franchise history. And the Raiders, they made a big signing. Of course, we know the Max Crosby deal. That's over with. We'll talk a little bit about Crosby in a second. But let's talk some Tyler Linderbaum. It was, by some, an overpay. 3 years, $81 million. The Raiders made Linderbaum the highest paid center in NFL history, paying him $27 million per season. That's $9 million more than the previously highest paid center in Creed Humphrey, who's making $18 million a season. And it's pretty rare to see the market reset that dramatically and to see the new highest paid player make that much more. But the Raiders essentially, they guaranteed all $81 million with that structure of the deal. And basically what the Raiders are saying here is you got to fix this offensive line. This O-line was broke. You are the guy that we believe in to do it. And if it means overpaying, sometimes to get what you want, you got to overpay a little. Scared money don't make none. And this is the Raiders saying, hey, we are going to draft Fernando Mendoza. We know that we have to protect him. A great quarterback is nothing without a competent offensive line. Championships are one of the trenches. And Linderbaum is a guy that can really help this team, be a leader of this team, and be a part of the future. Because let's not forget, not only are you drafting Fernando Mendoza, you also drafted Ashton Genty with the number 6 pick last year. And he did struggle at times running behind that bad single-ply toilet paper level offensive line for the Raiders. Ashton Genty averages 3.7 yards per carry, and Linderbaum, he's going to be a massive upgrade. Last year, you had Jordan Meredith as your center. He was undersized. He didn't get the job done. Now, the Raiders, we're going to have a franchise-level quarterback under a rookie contract, are investing in the most important position they haven't invested in, because you have Brock Bowers, you have Ashton Genty, Fernando Mendoza, you got Kubiak. Clint Kubiak, I think, is the best Raiders head coaching hire, in a long time. Since John Gruden, right? It's a guy that can really, really offensively be a mind that takes you over the top. So look at the Raiders' needs now after the first day of free agency. You got to continue with that offensive line. Who are the best names available? Well, the number one priority is you got to address the right tackle spot. You have not signed a tackle, and the Raiders have some options. You got Braden Smith. You got Jawan Taylor. Those are the two best available. I would like to see them go after a name like that. They did sign a wide receiver, but I think their second need still right now has to be wide receiver. And yes, you're not getting that WR1 type of guy right now. You did sign Jalen Naylor, and you're betting on him. But just like the Rams, Romeo Doubs, he's going to get a nice deal somewhere because he's put himself in a really good position to be the best wide receiver available, where there's no top 10 guys, just those obvious franchise guys, right? But yeah, Romeo Doubs, Juwan Jennings, and Deebo Samuel. Those three. Deebo passes prime, Juwan Jennings up and down, Romeo Doubs, I think makes a lot of sense for them. If I'm the Raiders, that's the guy that I'm looking at. And then also, you don't have a complimentary running back to Ashton Genty. You really do not. And right now, Rashad White and Najee Harris are out there. So number 3 would be running back. And then 4, guard. You got Elkton Jenkins. You got Wyatt Teller. You signed Linderbaum. But still, you need another guard. So you got to hit the guard spot. And then, how about quarterback? Because you're going to get your franchise guy in the draft. But I said this a couple weeks ago. If I'm the Raiders, I'm getting Kirk Cousins. Who, personality-wise, has Fernando Mendoza been compared to? Kind of with that lovable cringe, I guess I'll call it. That endearing cringe. Kirk D. Cousins. Or Joe Flacco could show him the ropes too. So I need a veteran quarterback. And then cornerback as well. I would say number 6 is cornerback. You re-signed Eric Stokes. You got Teron Johnson in a trade. But there's a couple more cornerback spots available. Darion Porter has not really looked like the guy for the Raiders that they had hoped he would be. And my guess is, do they go after Tariq Woolen? Do they go after Nashawn Wright, a Greg Newsome type? Tariq Woolen would be really interesting for the Raiders. So that's where I'm at on the silver and black. The Raiders. The Raiders. By the way, Did Geno Smith just have the worst season in the history of seasons for any NFL quarterback? Check out my music. There we go. Let me hit my Raider Nation. There we go.
He wears a hooded sash.
There we go. The Raiders. So Geno Smith, last season for the my point is for Fernando Mendoza, the bar is low in Las Vegas. The bar is low. Pete Carroll was cooked. The organization needed to shift. Let's not forget though, the Raiders, one of the iconic, one of the proud franchises, won a championship with Marcus Allen here in Los Angeles. But Geno Smith had one of the very worst years that any quarterback has ever had. Think about this. Think about this year for Geno Smith. He was traded from the Seahawks to the Raiders, and his former team ends up winning the Super Bowl. He led the National Football League in interceptions. He played for the team that had the worst record in the NFL. He got Pete Carroll fired for the second time in 2 years, got Max Crosby traded, and was cut after one season. Poor Geno Smith. Poor Geno Smith. Max Crosby's gone, and the Raiders are completely rebuilding. Yeah, I think for the Max Crosby, it's a win-win-win scenario. Ravens got a stud defensive end they desperately needed. Max gets a chance to actually win a ring instead of wasting his prime with the silver and black. And the Raiders get number 14 next year's first to help fill more holes in their rebuild. All right, switch gears to the Clippers. Clippers hype? You know the Clippers did something good when we're talking about the Clippers before the Lakers on this show. But the Clippers, they won a game in epic fashion yesterday. They beat the New York Knicks. It was an entertaining game. Not a lot on last night. I did watch USA Mexico. I did watch Shea hit that game winner. But the Clippers, they win 126-118. And now the Clippers have somehow, some way clawed their way back in the NBA standings in the Western Conference. A Clippers team that's had the distractions with the Asperion and the trees and the circumventing the salary cap, and they're waiting for their suspension. We got some breaking news, Raider Nation. You see that? Did you guys see that? The imagine this. Imagine this. To go from the Raiders, a team that had the worst year in the NFL last year, to Geno Smith is going to the New York Jets. BDR, get J-Rob on the phone. I'm going to FaceTime J-Rob. I'm going to FaceTime J-Rob on the show. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see if we can get J-Rob on the show. Let's see. This is going to be a first for this show. But the deal is that Geno Smith is going to be returning to the Jets. And he did have some pretty good years. He did have some pretty good years on that team. But it'll be really interesting to see. We can see if we can get J-Rob on the phone. Let's see. Of course, you guys know John Robinson did the show for TBL. The biggest Jets fan we've ever met. Probably not going to pick up. But still, Geno Smith. This is from ESPN. Breaking: the Raiders are releasing last season starting quarterback Geno Smith. And the Jets are the team. Oh, yep. Here we go. We got more news on it. No, he's not picking up, BDR. It's probably at work.
Yeah, he's a busy man.
He's a busy man. But if he picks up during the show, we will. You guys remember John Robinson? We will bring in the biggest Jets fan we know. But all right, let's go to the Clippers. We'll get back to some football a little later. So like we were saying about the Clippers and this team that, oh my goodness, this is NFL free agency madness. So we just talked about Romeo Doubs. as a possibility for the Rams and the Chargers, even the Raiders. Well, he's going to the New England Patriots. The best receiver still available is going to New England. And this is breaking news right here. Let's see who else has this. Let's make sure that this is official, because this definitely really changes the receiver market. Okay, we got Ian Rappaport. Sources, Packers free agent, wide receiver Romeo Doubs is signing with the Patriots, a new weapon for Drake May. Hey, they cut Stephon Diggs. He's not going to completely replace Diggs' production. That's a solid pickup for the Patriots. They need to add someone after losing Diggs. And he's not a massive difference maker, but okay, I get it. I think it's funny to me because Patriots fans thought they were getting A.J. Brown. And say what you want about A.J. Brown, he's a lot better of a receiver than Romeo Doubs. So Drake May getting some weapons, interesting stuff. So there you go. Romeo Doubs is going to the Patriots, who will not be on the Rams. He will not be on the Chargers. He will not be on the Raiders. So interesting stuff right there. All right, let's get back to the Clippers until the next breaking NFL free agency buzz story goes down. But the Clippers, they beat the Knicks, and after starting 6-21, the Clippers have clawed back and are sitting at 32-32. 32-32. They become the second team in NBA history to reach 500 after falling 15 or more games below 500 earlier in the season. The 2016-2017 Miami Heat started 11-30, 19 games under 500, and finished 41-41. No team has ever moved above 500 after previously being 15 or more games under 500, and that's something the Clippers can do with the win over the Minnesota Timberwolves on Wednesday. Well, it's impressive. This is a Clippers team that's completely shuffled their lineup. They traded away James Harden. They've got all of the distractions about a potential discipline or suspension or something coming from the league. Well, Kawhi Leonard, this was Kawhi Leonard's reaction to the Clippers getting back to 500.
Cool, but the job ain't done. The season not over, so I mean, it's what's expected. Like I told the fellas, like, we don't train to lose, we train to win. So, it's all right.
Was that a recent message to the team?
No, I just talked about it, a few players.
Today or
today, when I heard we were 500. Like I said, job is not done. We still got game to play, so it's nothing to be happy about.
That was Kawhi at his best. It's cool. Job not finished, right? Now, here's the thing. From 6-21 to 500, say what you want about the Clippers. Say what you want about the Clip Show, who are in the conversation for one of the worst franchises in sports history. And Steve Ballmer has changed everything about that franchise for the most part. We'll see what happens if the league comes down on them for the Kawhi drama. But still, give credit to Ty Lue. Give credit to Kawhi Leonard. Give credit to the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard's really been playing at an all-NBA level of late. And it makes me wonder, is he doing this because he wants to win? Is he doing this because he knows there's going to be a looming suspension that could void his contract with the Clippers? And then when he's able to come back, teams out there will think better of him and he'll sign him to a better deal? Is this Kawhi playing for a new contract because he knows that the league and a potential discipline is looming? Just saying. I mean, give him credit though. I mean, a lot of teams would have tanked for a draft pick. A lot of teams would have just tanked for in general. Of course, they weren't in that position. They couldn't. But as a Clippers fan, I thought they were going to trade. I mean, if for the Clippers fans out there, did they trade I mean, what's your take on this, BDR? I mean, like, is this as impressive as it feels?
This is quite impressive. You know, there's not a lot of teams that can endure as many shakeups as the Clippers has had. Like you mentioned early in the season, the scandals, the Chris Paul situation, the James Harden thing is like they've been a different team almost every 10 to 15 games. But now they're finally figuring out they're in their rhythm. Right now they're in the 8th seed. They might slip up to the 6th seed. And if the Lakers are in the 3rd seed, we could have a round 1 LA versus LA. That's exciting.
Oh, that'd be the dream. I mean, that would be the dream. I feel really good with the Lakers in that matchup. But yeah, you're 100% right. You bring up Chris Paul. It does not look good for Chris Paul. It really doesn't. And that has came and went, and that's all gone. But CP3, maybe he was the problem. But yeah, hey, look, obviously, you know, I'm a born and bred bleeder of the purple and gold, but I can also acknowledge that the Clippers have really fought through something. And yeah, give them some credit. I mean, they really have turned their season around. And yeah, maybe it was that fun guy effect from Kawhi Leonard. Now, going to the Lakers, though. Let's talk some purple and gold. The Lakers in action tonight, going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. You got Anthony Edwards playing at the Crypt. It's a late game, by the way, 8 p.m. tonight, NBC game. And with less than 5 weeks until the end of the regular season, it's about the standings. It's about how many wins can you stack to put yourself in a better position. And the Lakers, they've won 5 of the last 6 games. They're right there at 5. They have the 5th seed. And they're going up against the 3rd seed today. And the Timberwolves are going to be a really good test for the Lakers. They've been playing a lot better. They've won 8 of the last 10 games. Anthony Edwards is averaging 29.6 points per game. He's been also gotten a lot of help too. I mean, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, old friend, Rudy Gobert. I mean, the Wolves have averaged 118.6 points per game. That's 5th best in the league, and they're top 10 defensively too. So this is a team that's going to be a really good test. The Lakers are going to learn a lot about themselves tonight. Luka Doncic, he's played at an MVP level or close to that for most of the season. And really today, it's going to come down to the X factors. Will Austin Reaves look like All-Star Austin, like we saw in his last performance? LeBron James is questionable. So for all those narrative builders out there, if the Lakers win tonight and they win in convincing fashion, and it's another impressive win with LeBron not playing, we know people are going to jump on that. But it's going to be really interesting to see how this team performs, because this is a Lakers team that is going to try to win in the same style of the last 2 games where they're attacking the paint. So how will they attack Rudy Gobert? If they go out there and you're aggressive and you're committed defensively and you space the floor, you get the shooting right. Luke Kennard has been a godsend for the Lakers. He certainly has. I certainly think the Lakers can take this tonight. LeBron James, that right hip contusion, left foot arthritis. He's the only one on the injury report. Left foot arthritis. And then for the Wolves, Kyle Anderson, former UCLA Bruin, right knee soreness, is questionable. So it's going to be exciting. Lakers, Timberwolves tonight. And speaking of Austin Reaves, so Austin Reaves, who is months from signing a massive deal, from becoming ultra wealthy, he's earned it. He's going to get paid. Well, the Utah Jazz are expected to show interest in the Hillbilly Mamba, in LeBron James. Eric Pincus, he said, quote, "I've heard that the Utah Jazz like Austin Reaves. I don't think that's a shock, but I've heard that that's one of the teams that's interested in Austin Reaves." So Utah, they've been linked to Reaves for a while because of their projected cap space. And with the team having room, they're prioritizing expiring deals with some of their younger talent. Well, Utah could be among teams that are going to be willing to offer him a big bag. And Reaves is going to opt out of his current $14.9 million player option for 2026 and 2027. So Utah, they can actually free up $11 million in cap space. They can renounce all the cap holds on Yusuf Nurkic, Kevin Love, Elijah Harkless. I mean, they got moves they can make, except the one that's to Walker Kessler, but they're in a really good spot. So it'll be really interesting to see if they can really get a contract together that makes a lot of sense, because, hey, if Reaves wants to leave, or they could possibly, I mean, what if the Jazz, they offered a sign and trade with Kessler? I doubt it, since the Jazz really value Kessler, but still, I mean, I think that if they offer him $28 million, which they can, the Lakers are going to match. They're definitely going to do that. So unless they drop Kessler, I don't see how they can make the cap space to be truly competitive for him. And Reaves has already made it clear he loves LA. He wants to be here. And yeah, the only way is if you kind of explore some of those options. So I think for Reaves, I mean, you got Luka. That's his second ball handler, right? Like he needs that guy. So I don't think this is going to happen. I think I fully expect Austin Reaves to be back with the Lakers. All right, USC. So we'll talk some USC. We got some comments, by the way. The Geno Smith trade. Who did the Raiders? I'm guessing some late round compensation in the NFL draft. Let's see what it was for, though. Let's see. Geno Smith. Okay, we're still working on it. Let's go. I really like this move for the Jets, because I think that Geno Smith is going to catapult the Jets into having the 2027 number 1 overall pick. I think that's what's going to lead to. All right, some comments here. Pablo, Cowboys looking good. Woohoo! Look, I've already added the Raiders to the mix. Okay. Don't make me add the Cowboys. By the way, fun fact about the Cowboys logo is it's not a logo. It's actually a rating. A 1 star. Of course, I kid, Cowboys fans. I like Weed and Boys. Actually read a great book about the Cowboys. Jeff Pearlman. Big takeaways. Michael Irving was the heart and soul of that team. We've got to Ruben. Hey, D-Mac. Ryan Leaf said, just knock it off and leave Geno Smith alone. Big shout out to that one of the all-time best locker room blow-ups. Ryan Leaf, another Washington State Cougar. Alfonso, Clippers are the real LA basketball team of the people, not built on hype. Hollywood Kawhi is the closest thing to Jordan we have today. Hey, that's rich. That's a hot take. And look, say what you want. It depends on kind of how you view LA, right? I mean, I think a lot of people would say the glitz, the glamour, the palm trees, the Laker girls, the sunshine. That's kind of what they think of when you think of LA. But I think LA is big enough to have 2 teams. I really do. And I'm not this Clipper hater, because I do like the fact that the Clippers have more affordable tickets, and it allows people to go to games that might otherwise not be able to afford a Laker game. So you won't find me hating on that. But I will say, to say that the real LA basketball team is ridiculous. They literally have never been to the NBA Finals. The Clippers and the Hornets are the worst teams in the NBA as far as historically. So, unfortunately for you, what you're saying is not right. And also, Kawhi is the closest thing to Jordan we have today. Really? How could you say something so ridiculous? I mean, a hand size maybe. Michael Jordan, he played 3 straight years. We didn't miss 1 game. Kawhi Leonard, load management, missing time, the knees. Don't put Jordan and Kawhi in the same sentence. I mean, Kawhi was a Jordan brand athlete at one point, but no, the closest that we have to Jordan is there's no thing that's closest. I mean, Kobe was kind of the closest as far as his playing style, but yeah, that guy doesn't exist right now in the NBA. I think as far as all-time greatness, I would say the closest that we have as far as someone that could reach that potential in the future would be Victor Wembanyama. I'm talking about someone that if everything broke right and you can guarantee me 10 to 13 healthy years, he could possibly sit at that table with Jordan and Kareem and Magic and LeBron in that top tier. But Kawhi Leonard won't be there. I'll tell you that.
I was going to say SGA kind of has the Jordan style of play as well. So
yeah, I mean, look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a great player. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I think defensively, Jordan, led the league in steals one year, right? I mean, 49-inch vertical, the scoring average, Jordan averaged 30.1 points per game for his career when it was far less possessions and it's a half-court game. I just think that it's like if you have to say who's the closest, there's closest, but they're not in the same zip code. I mean, they might be on the same planet, but they're not in the same country, right? So I think that's just kind of how I view it. But hey, shout out to SGA. I'm not SGA either. That was a big shot he hit yesterday. Okay. All right. So real quick though, want to get this in. We posted that thing of Tommy Trojan UCLA jersey. I wanted to get back to my Trojans out there. I know you hear my fight on fight song, right? Here we go. There you go, Trojan. Unbiased. Okay. We just give you the truth here. And ESPN did a ranking on the top incoming talent, and they have USC at number 13. And this is after USC landed the number 1 recruiting class as far as overall volume of that class. And here's what ESPN said about the Trojans' incoming talent. It says, quote, USC is leaning more on its top-ranked high school class, though its group is boosted by some strong portal additions. The Trojans' work along with the defensive line was a key factor in landing the number 1 high school class in 2026. Expect several freshmen to play roles right away. Waffle, he was a standout in the All-American game. So, of course, talk about Luke Waffle, was a standout in the All-American games, and he finished the cycle as a college-ready 5-star. Winfield, he was a local product. Tupai from Modern Day, they're big-time additions in the heart of the trenches, an area where USC needs to get better. Tupai is a 300-pounder with excellent quickness and the type of player that USC has previously struggled to keep at home. A physical presence as the linebacker rotation continues to evolve. They address some key losses at receiver. Ethan Feaster offers another dynamic young option in the passing game and someone to watch in the receiver room. USC might not need Kini Pepe to step into a starting role, but he's a massive 6'7", 320-pound presence with rare athleticism who could push for playing time. Says USC pepper the roster with experienced Power 4 ready talent. Williams was arguably the biggest addition. Healthy once again, he'll likely start at center, and that brings that proven coverage skills that they need. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I thought you would say, hey, even though they had a smaller haul in the portal, I think number 13 feels a little low for a team that signed the number 1 recruiting class in the country. The good news for the Trojans is they're going to be able to prove those rankings wrong all season long. And I think it's kind of a West Coast thing. You didn't have any of those top super ultra elite prospects. There was a lot of quality. Well, this is going to be a big year for Lincoln Riley. It's going to be a big year for USC. One of the toughest schedules in college football. And the college football playoff has been around since 2014. We're in 2026, and USC has yet to make the college football playoff. When it was a 4-team, it was a 12-team. USC needs to get back to the college football playoff, just like UCLA needs to get back to the Final Four. UCLA Final Four 2021. Didn't win it all, though. If you don't hang a banner, it doesn't matter. But that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. We got some late comments here, by the way. Art Carino, D-Mac, what would you consider a successful Lakers season considering our roster constraints? Let's ignore a championship. I would say if you can win 2 rounds, that'd be ideal. But if you could win 1 round with this group, depending on the matchup, look, I mean, you're the Lakers. Anytime there's no banner, it's not a true successful season. But if you win 1 round, that will tell you that certain guys that you're evaluating to bring back, like Austin Reaves and some of these younger players Luke Kennard, I think that could point to maybe bringing him back when that was viewed as potentially a end of season type of rental. If you win one round, that would definitely be a success. I think if you win 2 rounds, that's a ringing success though. So win a round and then just turn the page to the post LeBron era. And I think that's going to be refreshing and re-energizing for the Lakers and their fans. But last one here, Adam Hurley, Clippers fans were celebrating last night, believing they'd become, oh, come on now. They're calling them fake contenders. I don't think the Clippers think that. I think it's more just, hey, it was a turnaround. And I think that it was Kawhi Leonard himself who said that the Clippers aren't contenders. He said that after the James Harden trade. So when your best player doesn't think you're a contender, well, you're probably not a contender. I think that's certainly what it is. But that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and remember that LA is the city of champions.